Hello, everybody. Kevin Walsh here, as always. Going to be talking some NBA now. We are 7 days away from the season starting, and obviously a lot of storylines coming up for this year. Can LeBron James finally win a title for Cleveland? Can Steph Curry and the Warriors continue that dominant season that they had? Can Westbrook and Durant win a title together? Is LaMarcus Aldridge enough to continue to keep the Spurs' old legs running? The question that everyone asks, but they always answer with a clear yes. Can the Clippers finally get it done and make it to the finals? How good will the Knicks be? A lot of questions that need to be asked, and I'm going to try to answer as many as I can. Going to start it off with the Western Conference. I'm not going to really talk about every single team, but there's a couple of teams that I do want to touch on. There's a couple of teams that definitely deserve some mention, and obviously no team would deserve more mention than the defending NBA champions, the Golden State Warriors. Now, they have kept everyone together. They're going to be returning the same group. Didn't lose Draymond Green. And now this team is going to be looking for the repeat, which is obviously the toughest thing to do in sports is get that second one, in back-to-back seasons. And I'm just going to be very honest and very straightforward. I don't think that the Warriors are going to be able to do that. I don't think that they are going to finish with the best record in basketball, nor the best record in the Western Conference. To me, this was a team that truly overachieved last season. You look at the 67-15 record that they had, 39-2 at home. Almost unheard of, that type of home record. And I know how good this team is when you think about when you think about the fans, and obviously that is why they were so good at home, because they have so much energy there and the ability for them to shoot and all those type of things. But I think in my opinion, I think you saw a little bit more of the true Golden State Warriors in that series against Cleveland. They're not the best team in basketball in regards to. No, they're unbeatable and they're the clear-cut favorites, but they were the deepest team. They could outlast anyone on that court, and that's what they were able to do. I mean, LeBron James was able to go out there, got 2 victories. If Kyrie Irving didn't get hurt in that first game, a game they almost had, maybe could have gone up 3-0. If Kyrie didn't get hurt and they played the whole series, they might have won that title. But when it was just LeBron and players like Matthew Dellavedova, Golden State was able to obviously outmatch them. And I think that is what's going to be Golden State's plan. But I don't think that Golden State is, in my eyes, anymore the best team out west. I think there are teams that have truly gotten significantly better from last season. There are going to be some serious keys for them, though. The key one is, how will their players improve? Klay Thompson, Harrison Barnes, Draymond Green. The 3 of them are loaded with potential. Loaded with potential. Now, I'm not sure where you would want to rank Klay Thompson among shooting guards right now in the NBA, but I think this year he has the opportunity to solidify himself as the second best shooting guard in basketball behind James Harden, because I think that's clear cut. Or maybe, could Klay Thompson have a down year? Does he start to have shooting struggles? You're not sure. You have to see, what will he be able to do this year. And I think that is going to be a question that will be asked of him, is how big can Klay Thompson be? Can he be the Robin to Steph Curry's Batman? Can he get it going for this team consistently? Can he solidify himself as a superstar in this league? For Harrison Barnes, now a guy that was as highly recruited coming out of high school as any in recent years, was really viewed as a high-level talent that was going to be a superstar, the guy on a team. Stayed at UNC for longer than what people would have thought, and it turned out to be that maybe Harrison Barnes is not ever going to be the man on a team, but Harrison Barnes is definitely a difference maker. He's a player that anybody would want to have on their team. And I think it's going to be interesting, though, to see how does Harrison Barnes come out this season, because Harrison Barnes, I think, is a very good player, but he's not starting right now for this team. Well, I mean, they might end up going small and playing Draymond every day at the 4, and if they do that, then Harrison Barnes, well, he probably still then wouldn't start, because they would maybe start Andre Iguodala then at the 3. So it's very interesting to think about how that is going to be decided, because if Harrison Barnes has a big breakout year, then he comes into a situation where he's going to want to be paid much better than obviously what his current contract would be. So, it's going to be interesting to see what Harrison Barnes does, or does Harrison Barnes maybe kind of look, mediocre to good, and then, step up come playoff time again? I think that's another question. And then Draymond Green got a real big contract and deserved every single penny of it. But how does he improve? How does Draymond Green move forward? I think it's going to be interesting, because Draymond Green is never going to be the best player on his team, but Draymond Green always feels like the most important player on his team. And I think, if you're a sports fan, that makes a lot of sense. When he was in Michigan State, he was the guy. He was the most important player. Maybe not the most talented, but he was there for 4 seasons. He was the clear leader, got them going, and he did the same for Golden State. He was the leader of that team. He showed the most heart, the most fight at all times, and I think that the team kind of followed suit and followed his lead a lot of the times. And that includes Steph Curry. I think sometimes Steph Curry would even look to Draymond Green for an extra push to get them through some of their tougher games. So it'll be interesting to see how Draymond improves this coming season. The big thing, though, for this team is going to be health. Last year, they miraculously stayed healthy all season long. They did not suffer one injury that was costly to them at all. I mean, not even a player like Andrew Bogut, who's been riddled with injuries his entire career, went down. Steph Curry even has gone through injury problems his whole career, and he was healthy. So it's going to be, it'll be curious. Can they do that again? Can this team stay healthy? Obviously, health is always a major concern for every team, but for the Warriors, for the fact that they really had no injuries at all. I mean, Steve Kerr mentioned that right after the finals, that we were able to stay healthy. Can they do that? I think that is going to be something to look out for. And also mentioning the fact that Luke Walton right now is going to be the interim head coach due to Steve Kerr needing some surgery, I believe it is. So it is all going to be very, very interesting for this Golden State Warrior team, but I don't think that they are going to be the best team out west. There are 4 teams. Well, if you're going to include the Warriors, there are 5 teams in the Western Conference who can legitimately win the NBA Finals. I might be doing a disservice by leaving out the Memphis Grizzlies of that 5. You probably could throw the Grizzlies in there because they gave the Warriors a real run for their money. And if Mike Conley had not gone down, this team could have maybe beat them. And I do think that a healthy Western Conference team up against the Kevin Loveless and Kyrie-less Cavs was likely to win that finals matchup. So maybe you could include the Grizzlies, but I rank them a shade below the rest. So those 5 teams are the Warriors, and then the Houston Rockets, the Los Angeles Clippers, the San Antonio Spurs, and the Oklahoma City Thunder, who last year missed out on the playoffs. Kevin Durant, who going into the season was the reigning MVP, he just couldn't stay healthy, got hurt, came back, got hurt again. And that obviously was a big problem. Russell Westbrook did everything under his power to get them to the postseason. They were a win away. They finished with the same record as the 8th-seeded New Orleans Pelicans. They lost the tiebreaker, and it's a hard situation that they went in, that they had to deal with. But I think you need to expect the Thunder to come out roaring. I mean, absolutely roaring. I think clear-cut 3 best players in the league: 1 LeBron, 2 Durant, 3 Westbrook. No, and you cannot change my mind on that at all. I think that each one of them, their position in those rankings is extremely clear cut. It is obvious. There are just absolutely no questions there. So for the Thunder to have two of the three best players in the league, and then you throw on top of the fact that they have Serge Ibaka, who is one of the better fours in basketball. He's a shot blocker, can really change it at the rim, can extend the floor. He's a very, very good power forward. And then Enes Kanter is a rising big man in this league. Enes Kanter was supposed to go to Kentucky. That got messed up, never played college ball, came drafted by the Jazz, showed some promise, but they moved on and traded him over to the Thunder. And the Thunder now have a very promising center on their hands. They have not been able to fill that role that was James Harden, really, once he left. But, I mean, James Harden was the sixth man on that team. James Harden right now, by most people, might even consider him the fourth best player. A lot of people, I'm sure, consider him a top 5 player, top 6 player in this league. So, thinking about it, that's not something that's going to be easily done to replace him. But having Westbrook and Durant, plus the promising front court that they have, even a guy like Steven Adams, who can come in and play some really good defense, all the size in the world, can be a difference maker. I think that, it's going to have to be, the Thunder who are going to make some serious noise. But I still don't see them finishing as the best team out west, if I'm going to be completely honest. I think that they're going to make a heck of a case. Wouldn't be surprised to see them surpass the Warriors. But I have the best team in the Western Conference being the Los Angeles Clippers. And a lot of people might laugh at that and say the Clippers just can never get it done. But last year, the Clippers finished with, they tied the Rockets for second best record out west. Again, lost a tiebreaker that seeded them third. But you think about this team, Chris Paul, I still think you could make the argument is the best point guard, but I mean, after the year Steph Curry had, no, he's not the best point guard because Russell Westbrook is, and then after the year Steph Curry had, but Chris Paul probably now seen as the third best point guard in basketball, probably still the best floor manager, though, the best pure point guard in basketball. As far as the point guard needed for that Clippers team, you couldn't ask for a better guy. You then look, they're starting J.J. Redick, an absolute sharpshooter at the 2, a true marksman at the 2. Paul Pierce, a leader, a NBA Finals champion, a guy who has been the guy on his team, can make every clutch shot in the world, and who has been with Doc Rivers before. So that's a guy that they can trust. And then you have DeAndre Jordan at the 5, and Blake Griffin, who's one of the best players in our league, at the 4. That is a scary, scary starting 5. In my opinion, it could be the best. I think it is. I think it's the best starting 5 in basketball. I don't think that there is a starting 5 that really tops it from top to bottom. It's you have a top 3 point guard, no two ways about it. Top 3 power forward, no two ways about it. And a top 3 center, no questions asked. No questions asked. And then you look to the bench, and you have Lance Stevenson and Jamal Crawford. That is phenomenal. That is this is a team that has the chance to be the best team in basketball. I think they have a good chance to win the finals. That's my early favorite right now to win the West. I mean, I know we are extremely early into the season, but I'm doing a preseason prediction here. I think come playoff time, they are going to be in for a true test if they are matched up with the Spurs. But regular season, this Clipper team should come out absolutely fired up, ready to go, and just, show people how truly good that they are, how good they can be, and that they are not a joke. They're not a team that's going to just you kind of say, oh yeah, they'll be good, but they're not that good. They're not just there. This team is there. This is a season where this team has to feel like they need to be in the Western Conference Finals for sure. Because last year they blew that lead to the Rockets. They really should feel like anything outside of holding up that trophy is a disappointment. Again, the Spurs and Rockets are going to be great. I don't have time to break down every single team, but right now, early preseason prediction out west, I am liking the Clippers. Taking a quick break, and we'll be right back here on WICR.